Today, post-game show, Jamie Plunkett here alongside Bingo Merrick after a dominant 79-52 TCU Horned Frogs win over the Oklahoma Sooners here at Schollmeyer on Tuesday night. Bingo, it was a sold-out crowd. The student section was hyped all night. It was, in fact, the second largest crowd in Schollmeyer history tonight. Talk to me before we get into the game about the atmosphere here tonight.
We talked about it in the pregame show, JP. The atmosphere was going to be a big part of TCU's win tonight, and they started off the game really well. I think they fed off the atmosphere really good. The students was up the whole game yelling, and they was harassing the Oklahoma players a little bit. It was fun to watch.
Look, they obviously had an effect because Oklahoma started the first half incredibly slow. They started the second half incredibly slow. Here, I got a stat for you.
Yep.
In the first half, it took Oklahoma 4 minutes and 46 seconds of game time to score their first points. TCU went on an 11-0 run during that time. In the second half, it took them 6 minutes and 54 seconds to score their first points. TCU went on an 11-0 run during that time. That's 22-0 in 11 minutes of a 40-minute basketball game where TCU completely set the tone for the rest of the halves, and they just ran away with it from there.
You made sense of it right there. TCU came out and set the tone. They were scrappy on defense, moving the ball really well, and Mike Miles, as we talked about, he really came out and set the tone, dishing the ball really well, scoring at will. He did a great job, and the Horned Frogs definitely came out and stole the game.
23 points for Miles tonight. It was his seventh 20-plus point performance of the season. He was, as we talked about pregame, their leader, their leading scorer. He got to the rim. More importantly, though, Bingo, what I noticed early on to help him kind of get established in the game is he got to the free throw line.
10 for 10 from the free throw line in this game. He got to the free throw line. Of course, a couple shots on the three-point. He got fouled on there. Seen those go in a little bit, and then he was able to get to the basket aggressively and score those buckets and get fouls as well. And I think that helped with his confidence.
It helped with his confidence. It obviously helped with his team's confidence, too. As we get into this game, folks, we're going to have Coach Tony Benford by, the associate head coach for TCU basketball. Emmanuel Miller is going to stop by as well and talk about the game tonight. But, Bingo, as we continue this here on the Frogs Today postgame show live at Schollmeyer Arena, what I want to really get into right now is over the last two games, we've seen TCU go to Lawrence and win by 23. And now we've seen TCU defend home court and win by 27. What does it say about a team that has the ability to go on the road and get a big win and then carry that momentum into their next game?
I think it says a lot about this team right now because they're trying to have national championship aspirations. Mm-hmm. So when you get into the tournament, a lot of times TCU, hopefully we're going to be a high seed. So a lot of times you may be on the road. Sometimes it may be a home game. I think this is going to be good for them going forward because you never know what the crowd is going to be like. And they're going into Allen Fieldhouse and playing the way that they played, then coming back here at home doing the way that they did. It's going to be a good future for the Horned Frogs.
It really, truly is. You know, we talked a little bit about Eddie Lampkin's absence before the game started. We didn't know how that was going to impact TCU's rebounding. Well, they won on the boards 46-38. That's pretty good without your starting center, your leading rebounder. But how did TCU manage that today without Eddie Lampkin on the court?
JP, the physicality from 1 through 5. It started out with Corp down low getting that nice block. And then Chuck O'Bannon, he got a couple nice blocks as well. I think everybody on the floor played with a lot of physicality because we know Big Eddie, he's definitely a physical player. Mm-hmm. And with him missing out of that like that, TCU had to step up their physicality, and they stepped up to the challenge.
You know, we're going to get into our picks to click here in just a little bit. You know, I had X on my roster. You had a couple really big names on your roster too, though, that stepped up for the Horned Frogs in a couple of ways. But I want to talk about Micah Peavy for a second. He missed his 4 games with a pretty significant back injury. He was struggling to even practice as recently as Friday. And he comes out and all he does is 13 points, 9 rebounds, and he plays that brand of defense that Jamie Dixon absolutely loves. And he looked like he hadn't missed a beat.
When he first came out, the first play of the game, and if you remember, he attacked the basket. And when he attacked the basket, he did an acrobatic move. I think that was trying to test the waters just a little bit to see how that back was doing. Mm-hmm. He felt it was okay. He had 7 and 6 in the first half. He was already flirting with a double-double, and he finishes the game close to a double 1 rebound shy of a double-double.
You know, I think when you have that back issue, landing is a big big problem, right? So as much as it was getting up in the air and twisting a little bit, it was really good to see him land confidently and then kind of bounce around and get back down the court as well. Bingo, we talked a lot about transition basketball ahead of this game. The Frogs obviously are the number one scoring team in the country when they get on the fast break, 21 points a game, and they had, I believe, 25 fast break points tonight. That was a key for us ahead of this game, was figuring out how the Frogs were going to manage to get into transition against an Oklahoma team that really likes to slow the game down. They went 1-2-2 press right out of the gate, and that was really impressive to see. They forced a couple early turnovers. What did you see that you liked about how TCU started the game with that press?
With Coach Dixon, he's a genius at that. He came out with a press. He wanted to speed Oklahoma up a little bit. And when you press, Oklahoma's trying to slow the ball down in the back court. You have to get the ball across half court. And when they got the ball across half court, maybe you have 10 to 12 seconds to get into your offense and try to score. So TCU was limiting Oklahoma to one shot, getting the rebound, and then getting out and run. And that's how they was able to get transition buckets. And you see they was leading the fast break battle 25-8.
It happened time and time again, especially early on in that 11-0 run that opened up the game. It was huge for TCU, I think, to jump out to that early start. They've been known throughout Dixon's time here as maybe not getting off to the fast starts that you always want to see them get out to. But the last 2 weeks, it has been the perfect start for the Frogs both times.
They've been doing well. I believe the loss to West Virginia, because they know they let one get away, it ignited the Frogs. And when they went into Kansas, they had a lot of energy, and they knew that they was going to be a tough place to play. And then tonight's game as well, you've seen it just carry over. Very good.
Absolutely. All right, well, you see him right here on the set. We're going to take a quick break here on the Frogs Today post-game show after a 79-52 win for the Frogs. Associate head coach Tony Benford is going to join us here on the set when we come back right after this.
Dave's Hot Chicken is a cult favorite and now has 2 locations in Fort Worth, Bryant Irvin Road on I-20 and Berry Street at TCU, both owned and operated by Horned Frogs. Mention the Frogs Today show and get 10% off anytime and order online at daveshotchicken.com.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. So we simply start by listening to you. Whether you're searching for customized insurance, HR, or financial solutions to protect your home, car, health, business, or employees, our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com.
Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Richard's Rainwater. Richard's Rainwater is 100% rain, refreshing, renewable, and the only ingredient we use in our water. Why rain? Because everyone deserves access to clean water, and rain is a 100% renewable resource available everywhere. Drink the rain. Save the planet. Shop now at richardsrainwater.com.
The Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at Flying T Club.
Great job defensively. And then we finished that with rebounding, okay? We know if our motto is all 5 rebound, all 5 runs. So we get stops, we can get out and get a transition. I don't know what our fast break points were.
25.
25. Well, we got our average. We're going to continue to do that. But I thought our guys were proud of our guys. Thought they did a great job.
Sherfield was 2 of 11 from the floor tonight, 1 of 8 for 3, ended up with 5 points, averaging 17 points a game. That's pretty good defensive effort.
Yeah, that's great. I thought Damon, when we played K-State, he did a great job on Noel early in the game. I thought he's one of the best defenders in the country, especially at that point guard, kind of combo guard position. And he did a great job running them off the line. We want to make sure that, because we were switching a lot, so sometimes even Xavier would end up on him. But we want to make sure we ran him off the three-point line, had great ball pressure, and made him take tough shots. We did that.
Coach, can you talk about the physicality? With Eddie Lampkin being out of the game, he's pretty much your best physical big man. And with him sitting out, it seemed like the Frogs, y'all picked up the intensity on the physicality tonight.
We did, Bingo. I'll tell you what, I think all our guys, with Eddie not being there, I thought Emmanuel, he had, I think, double digits, 10 rebounds, I think. And Michael Peavy, having him back was great, guys, because he came in, he had 9 or 10 rebounds. And then I thought Xavier and Jacoby both were physical inside. And we talked about that. We said, hey, Eddie's not here. Our guards have to help us rebound, and everybody had to do their job. And I thought our bench, again, we got the best. We're as deep as any team in the country. I think that was evidence tonight with the bench coming in and doing a great job of getting the night for us.
Coach, when you think about the defensive effort of your guys tonight, you talked about the physicality a little bit and Grant Sherfield specifically, but Tanner Groves didn't get going either tonight. He was visibly frustrated at times. It looked like the students who showed out impressively tonight got into his head early. He fouled out. With just 5 points, or 2 points actually, 1 of 2 shooting. What did you guys see on film, or what did Coach McNeely see on film that he pointed out that led to that to shutting him down as well?
They're a really good offensive team now. I mean, those guys are averaging like 74 points a game. But I thought we did a great job. We with Xavier and we started the game switching everything. We said when they tried to take advantage of us in the post, we said we got Mike Miles and Damon Ball on Tanner Grove. We told them to front them, and they wanted to load up on the weak side. We did a great job of loading up, and that's where we get a lot of our turnovers. When guys are trying to throw it in the post when they think they may have an advantage with a smaller guard or a guard on a big, our guys are really great at fronting the post, but we're also great at loading up on the weak side. And so that's what we want to do. We want to be really physical with Tanner, make him every time he got a catch, to really do a great job of walling up on him, and I thought we did that. And then don't let him, we kept him off the glass too. So he was kind of frustrated, I thought, with the defensive presence inside.
Coach, you speak about walling up. I believe it was contagious tonight when you seen Xavier. He started walling up, and it just like 1 through 5. It seemed like y'all were walling up really well tonight, and it was forcing them into a lot of misses.
There's no doubt. We work on that every day. I mean, we've been working on it since summer. We work on wall ups every day. Finishing, especially off penetration or in the post. When they pick up a dribble, we want to make sure we wall up and make them come through our body. We teach our guys the shoulder hand, we call it elbow to ear. So we want to make sure we don't come down and slap down on the guys and keep our arms extended and foul our chest, because they're not going to call that. So I give that credit to our Big G, our strength coach. He's done a great job with those guys in the weight room this summer, and it continues to work hard with it. But all our guys are pretty physical right now.
Coach, you've mentioned depth a couple of times now just in the last few minutes. Where do you find the balance as a coaching staff between keeping all of the depth that you have engaged while also, when it's crunch time, getting the guys out there that need to be out there?
It's a challenge. It really is. And we talk about it as a staff as far as our rotation. Coach and I and our staff talk about when to get this sub in, when to get this person in. And it's a balance. Sometimes, you want to make sure, like, Mike and Damon both were playing heavy minutes like early on. They've been playing 34, 35 minutes. We want to get those minutes down to 31, 30 minutes, okay? Emmanuel Miller's playing 28 to 30 minutes. We want to try to get those minutes down. So we want to just try to, get all those guys in there and balance those minutes out. That's something that we try to work on all the time with those guys.
Awesome. That's Coach Tony Benford here on the Frogs Today post-game show. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, that starting center that had a pretty good night for the Horned Frogs, Xavier Cork, is going to join us here on the set.
For exclusive interviews and content on TCU recruits, subscribe now at frogstoday.com. Any sport, anytime. It's your source for all things TCU. Only on frogstoday.com.
Dave's Hot Chicken is a cult favorite and now has 2 locations in Fort Worth, Bryant Irvin Road on I-20 and Berry Street at TCU, both owned and operated by Horned Frogs. Mention the Frogs Today show and get 10% off anytime and order online at daveshotchicken.com.
Say hello to the water of tomorrow. Richard's Rainwater. Richard's Rainwater is 100% rain, refreshing, renewable, and the only ingredient we use in our water, Why rain? Because everyone deserves access to clean water, and rain is a 100% renewable resource available everywhere. Drink the rain. Save the planet. Shop now at richardsrainwater.com.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. So we simply start by listening to you. Whether you're searching for customized insurance, HR, or financial solutions to protect your home, car, health, business, or employees, our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Welcome back into the Frogs Today post-game show here at Schollmeyer Arena following a TCU 79, Oklahoma 52 win. We've got Bingo Merricks, my lovely co-host, and the starting center for the Horned Frogs tonight, Xavier Cork, joins us now on the set. Xavier, you played the most minutes you've played of any game this season without Eddie Lampkin, your partner in crime down low, out there tonight. Talk us through, did anything change for you mentally preparing to be a starter versus a reserve tonight? And did you feel gassed at any point playing the most minutes you've played?
Of course, there's always a change of preparation whenever you know that you're going to be playing more minutes. You have to get your mind right, your body right as well. I took a lot of time to just focus on mental and getting a lot of therapy and making sure my body will be right for today. Thankful for our AT today because he helped me a lot. I don't feel like I was like really gassed at any point. We also got Jacoby coming in and Sully coming in, getting great minutes. So I feel like that really helped today too.
You did a good. You talk about Jacoby, so I think y'all have a good combination of subbing in for each other, right? So with Eddie being out, you seem like you were a little bit more physical than normal. Do you think that with Eddie being out and his presence with the physicality, did you focus on that as well too about being physical?
Of course, one thing about Eddie, he's very physical. He's a big dude. He's gonna bang, and I talked to him before the game, and that's what things he was talking to me about. How we gonna need somebody to be physical because that presence that he has just wasn't there today. So I had to step up and really bring that for the team, and I feel like I did that today.
You talk about physicality and defensive presence. You had a couple of really big blocked shots today, and both of those blocked shots led to transition baskets, which you guys are leading the country in this year. I think big men aren't always appreciated for how they can start transition plays, but you had a couple big ones tonight. Talk about your role in getting guys out on the fast break like that.
Well, that's one thing that Dixon talks about a lot, and we actually work on it a lot, is outlets and just being able to hit guys up the floor. We work on it way more than you probably think, probably at least once a week. Just work on getting outlets out and just working on throwing it down the floor and just playing defense and making sure that we can get those things. Because that's when we play defense and really lock in, that's when we get our transition points, and it really leads to big baskets.
You talk about getting the ball out. But the one thing I liked about you, really use your athleticism well. In the Kansas game, you had some really nice buckets using your footwork. Tonight, you made some great moves right at the basket. Missed a couple chippies, but they were right there. So do you prepare differently for the next game, or is it like short-term memory? How do you prepare for the next game with that?
Of course, you want to go into the next game because these games come quick, but you also want to learn from your mistakes, learn from what you did from the previous game, and want to go in and work on it. I know that I probably need to go in and start working on more floaters and chip shots and things like that because as a big, we tend to sometimes just focus on things around the rim or like farther out like jump shots. We don't really tend to work on like floaters and chip shots, so I think that's something that I need to work on more this week.
This was just by a fluke of the schedule, the first conference home game where you guys have had a full student section. How big of an impact did they have tonight?
Extreme impact. It just brings a lot more energy. Kind of the people that we go to school with every day, we see them up and down the hallways, around the fountain, just people that we see every day. They bring in the energy. They come in, they're loud. It just feel like it's just a different type of energy that we can have.
Definitely with the student energy. So a lot of these players or a lot of the students that are in the crowd, so that energizes you. So did you think that helped as well, along with those blocks that you had tonight too?
Of course, you see people, they're always talking about the games like, oh, dude, you play well, it just gets like that little hype, you want to hear that after the game. So I think that helps a lot too.
All right, talking about hype, we saw the video of the locker room after that win against Kansas. Was it the same vibe in the locker room tonight after this one against OU?
course, no matter if we win by 20 or we win by 2, we always have each other. We're always got each other's backs. After any win, we're going to be hyping the locker room. We're going to get up. And I think that's what really brings us together as a team, that we're always there for each other, and we celebrate success no matter what.
Now, JP, you talking about hype and you talking about the locker room, Kansas, y'all were dancing around. I'm going to ask you, so who is the best dancer on the team?
I probably have to go with Ed on that one. Ed, he a Houston, Texas guy. You know, they like to dance down there, so he was getting jiggy a little bit.
All right, Xavier Cork, thank you so much for taking time here on the Frogs Today post-game show. When we come back, Bingo and I are going to break down a little bit more from TCU's win over Oklahoma.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. So we simply start by listening to you. Whether you're searching for customized insurance, HR, or financial solutions to protect your home, car, health, business, or employees, our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Higginbotham, insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
The Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best tasting sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPI drinks.com. Live happy. Be happy. Drink happy.
Welcome back into the Frogs Today post-game show here at Schollmeyer Arena following TCU's 79-52 win over the Oklahoma Sooners. Jamie Plunkett here alongside Bingo Merrick's Bingo. Mike Miles with 13 points to lead all scorers tonight. Damian Baugh and Micah Peavy both added 13 points for the Frogs. Emmanuel Miller pulled down 10 rebounds. Peavy pulled down 9. This was a complete dominant effort by the Horned Frogs tonight.
When we talk about Micah Peavy coming back, he did a great job of, getting his feet back wet again as far as missing 4 games. He came out and almost had a double-double. He played really well tonight.
He really did. So we've talked a little bit about Peavy already. We just talked with Xavier Cork, but I want to get back to your picks to click tonight, Emmanuel Miller and Chuck O'Bannon. Let's start with E-Man. 6 points, led the team with 10 rebounds. What did you see from him tonight that impressed you?
I just seen a great effort. E-Man is a guy that also doesn't have to always score to affect the game. He was getting tips on balls, running out, had a hand up, walling up. He did a really great job, and it was really a lot of great energy for the Frogs.
He's a guy that's had 20 points or more multiple times this year. The last few games, I think he's combined for 11 points, but it's that energy, it's that hustle, it's that defense, it's that rebounding that continue to allow him to impact the game even when he's not putting the ball in the basket.
When you talk about that, he impacted the game. His plus minus was still the second highest on the team at 28. Mm-hmm. So that just lets you know just how effective he is in the game.
And now let's turn to Chuck O'Bannon, because you thought he was going to have a big scoring game. He had 8 points, but he scored the first basket of the game, really helped kind of set that tone on offense for the Frogs tonight.
He's doing a good job. I think, Chuck, you've seen him tonight. He's getting more aggressive. I think he's finding his footing. He looked more confident out there tonight as well, too. But he had a lot of energy, played well on defense also.
This is, I think, his 3rd game in the last 4 for the Frogs where he's had multiple blocked shots. And we just talked with, one of the best shot blockers on the team in Xavier Cork. But when those wing guys and those guards start to get into the shot block party too, what kind of impact does that have on a team?
It just makes the Frogs that much more dominant and that much more dangerous, because if the big men cannot block the shots, the guards are coming over blocking the shots well. It makes it tough for their opponents.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So before the game, we talked about Oklahoma, 341st in possessions per game. As Coach Benford said earlier, they still average about 74, 75 points per game. They were well below that tonight. How did TCU so effectively essentially ruin Oklahoma's game plan tonight?
They came out early and jumped on them, and their energy on defense, hands going back and forth, moving through passing lanes, and then they were getting out in transition as well. And we talk about the physicality. I was very surprised at how physical TCU was tonight, and I think it shocked Oklahoma as well.
I think so too. I mean, this is a team that without Eddie Lampkin maybe isn't the most physical team in the Big 12. You know, you think about Kansas, who they did kind of physically dominate over the weekend, but you think about Texas Tech and Texas and Baylor, some of those bigger, longer teams. TCU now has the athletes, the dudes to match up. And they've shown it these last two games now with 20-point wins and two back-to-back outings.
And I think it just shows just how dangerous TCU can be in the Big 12 conference and going forward for tournament play.
So speaking of going forward, the Frogs play Saturday in Starkville, Mississippi as part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. It's a little bit of a reprieve from the Big 12 schedule, but they play a Mississippi State team that's got some, for lack of a better word, gumption. They're a good, big, physical team. It's almost like the Frogs are playing another Big 12 team, but how does TCU keep from getting complacent with 220-plus wins and carry this same kind of energy on the road this weekend?
Well, with TCU, I would think they would be more complacent after the Kansas win because that's the number 2 team in the country. You beat them and then you come home. You would think you would have the hangover then, but they came out and dominated. So I really believe that they're going to go to Mississippi State and they're going to continue this momentum in going into the SEC Challenge.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have for the Bulldogs on Saturday. Again, Mike Miles leads all scorers with 23 points, his 7th 20-plus scoring performance of the season. But that's going to do it for us here on the Frogs Today post-game show. For Bingo Merricks, I'm Jamie Plunkett. You can check out all the TCU basketball content you could ever want on the Frogs Today YouTube channel. We've got Coach Jamie Dixon's show. We just released an episode today. You can go back and watch that. He did a scouting report with Jamie McNeely that, apparently was pretty effective, I would say, with the 27-point victory. And we've got a ton of different content on that page as well. You can also check us out at frogstoday.com, where myself, Jeff Wilson, Melissa Treebwasser, David Bowden are providing you with all of the written content you could possibly ask for around TCU athletics. For Bingo Merricks, I'm Jamie Plunkett. We'll see you next TCU home game here on the Frogs Today postgame show.